teachers, the people that are in education, they chose that. That's what they chose. They went to school for it, and they had all those years to actually learn it. And so when my daughter or my son was diagnosed with different disabilities, I had to learn it quick. You know what I mean? And so it is a curve. It is a huge curve to learn, along with learning everything else. But I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, because they are just so wonderful. And I know that you guys have wonderful children too. And it's just something that you have to learn to help them compete in society. So, you know, with 8 children, 2 ARDs per year, you're looking at 10 ARDs.
So can you go back to taking that kind of like bell curve that you wrote up to this increased knowledge and stuff? How do you know in those ARDs now in retrospect, what are the things that have you thinking like, okay, this isn't getting worked out in the ARD, like I'm going to need to do something else? How do you kind of make those calls, or what were your lessons regarding that?
Well, I look at the data that they're giving, and I track that data. I also do my own observations. So some of the telltale signs are when they give you the goals that your child is supposed to meet at the beginning of the year with your ARD, and you notice that they're just kind of recirculating the goals. I don't know if you guys play dominoes or not, but when you're playing dominoes, you have to wash the dominoes. You have to move them around like that. And so what I noticed was they were just shuffling the goals and things around, and they kept lowering the goals each year. That was a telltale sign for me. When my child started to regress, because my daughter's nonverbal, she has some hearing loss in her ear, and I was still able, and she's autistic, I was still able to potty train her. And she was potty trained all the way from, I'm going to say from the age of 3.5 to 4, I was able to get her potty trained. And so when she started school, when she was in pre-K, and when she started school, she was potty trained. She needed some help with certain things like washing her hands and stuff like that, but she was pretty much potty trained. And so when I noticed her starting to have accidents, that's a telltale sign when your child's starting to have accidents. What's a real amazing sign is when you're sitting in those IEP meetings, and you're sitting there and they show you, because you want work samples, right? You ask for work samples. You must always ask for work samples. And you ask for the work samples, and you look at it, and even though you want your heart to believe that your child could have drawn this beautiful picture, or your child could have wrote in Spanish, or, whatever, something like that. And you realize, no, I know my child can't do this, can't produce this type of work. That's a telltale sign, because sometimes they do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And so now, now that you know those signs, are you just going to disagree with an ARD right away? What do you kind of feel like is your first way to put the school in check?
Okay, so right away, I will ask for additional services. Normally, it's what I would ask for. So what I normally do is I truly understand what my children's diagnoses are. So, because normally a child may have more than one. So sure. I try to tackle it with what the industry is saying is the best mode to educate them. So I ask for certain things. I ask for certain types of evaluations, and it's not until they say no, or they decline a service, they decline an evaluation, and I see that we're not progressing. And once I see that I'm not progressing, I may disagree with an ARD. Then we come back in so many days, and if we're still not progressing, and they're not trying to at least meet me halfway at the table. I may ask for 5 things, and if they can't meet me at all on at least 2 or 3, then it's in my opinion, it's time for file a complaint or a due process.